The Minneapolis Police Federation says the actions of officers during a shooting inside of City Hall saved a young man who was trying to take his own life. The family tells us 18-year-old Marcus Fisher is the person the police shot yesterday afternoon. Sources tell us he had a knife and was hurting himself prior to the shooting. They say Fisher also lunged at police. Doctors told his father, Eric Fisher, that Marcus slit his throat, slit his wrist, and stabbed himself in the chest.
For them to shoot him, that's the part that bothers me, and I don't get it. You guys got tasers. If he's already cut himself and stabbed himself and everything like that, why shoot him? Why didn't you just tase him? Take him to the hospital, put him in the nutty bin for a little bit.
Fisher says he has never known his son to be suicidal. He thinks he cut himself to avoid going to jail. As Reg Chapman shows us, police claim they had to shoot him to save his life.
Instead of taking a life, they saved a life, no question about it.
Minneapolis Police Federation's Lieutenant Bob Kroll says officers acted heroically when dealing with a suspect who tried to take his own life.
He had just confessed to a shooting, and the investigator went to get him a water and came back, and he was attempting to take his life. And the officers tried to talk him out, and after a lengthy time period had to intervene in order to save him, and he did not want to be saved.
Sources close to the investigation say the suspect, identified by family as 18-year-old Marcus Fisher, lunged at officers before he was shot.
The injuries that were most life-threatening were self-inflicted, and the officers did de-escalation techniques as long as they could, and at some point had to intervene and in order to save the man's life.
I'm highly upset, man. It's a child.
Corey Bird is a mental health practitioner who works with kids inside Minneapolis St. Paul Public Schools. He knows Marcus and has questions for police.
Shooting a child who was cutting themselves screams out mental health all day long. It would have been the same if he was cutting himself at the hospital. How do you get in the police department in there with a knife? I mean, how do you do that?
Now, we do know that there are cameras inside that interrogation room where the shooting happened, and we've learned the BCA now has those recordings. Lieutenant Kroll says he hopes that the video is released soon to show that officers did what was right to preserve life.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the video. Eric Fisher, his father, Reg, wondered why police didn't tase him, use a taser. Do you know anything about that?
Well, according to Lieutenant Bob Kroll, the officers did try to use a taser. They say it didn't work, and they say they were forced to use their weapons to save the young man's life.
Okay. Reg Chapman live at City Hall. Thanks.